Animation is the art of preparing drawings in exact register and sequence and photographing them on precision equipment, so that, on the screen, they seem to have life and movement, like me. Now, there are a number of types of animation. First, let's talk about optical effect animation. This type can be used to fade in new material. This method of animation is comparatively simple. The drawings are prepared in exact register. The first one, with the outline of the main building, is the starting drawing. Then, an exposure is made of each individual drawing, of course in exact register. This then results in the illusion of movement on the screen. Well, so much for optical effect animation. Now let's look at pop-on animation. Its name describes it pretty well. Over a background drawing, new material pops on the screen, such as these symbols representing livestock of a Midwestern state. The animation consists of a background drawing showing the material which is first to be presented on the screen and artwork of the additional material to be popped on. Then, these drawings are exposed in one continuous scene in the order they are to appear on the screen. First, the background drawing, then the first symbol, which is to pop on, then the second symbol, and so on. And this is what we see on the screen. Now, after pop-on, let's look at another type of animation called wipe-off or chip-off. Here we begin to see some actual movement on the screen. Wipe-off animation is useful in showing routes of travel, business curves, production changes, and so forth. First, the complete drawing is made. When the artist finishes this work, the drawing will show the animation as it will be completed on the screen. However, for wipe-off animation, the finished artwork is placed on the animation stand just upside down from the normal position in which we've seen previous animation drawings placed. Of course, this results in the camera exposing the animation in reverse. First the end of the scene, and then exposure by exposure, working back towards what will be the start of the scene. The exposure in reverse results in the desired forward movement when the exposed and processed film is projected on the screen. This same wipe-off technique can be used to introduce any type of material. With wipe-off animation, we are still working with individual complete drawings. But with cycle animation, we begin to get more complicated as we show repeated movements, such as the working of a piston. If we take a look at this artwork, we'd find that all static material is on the background drawing, but the action will be portrayed by means of a set of transparent cells, each of which advances the action one stage. This set of cells thus shows the full cycle of the action, and when they are exposed in order over and over again, this is the screen result. Ah, straight ahead. Now we're getting somewhere. We're getting back to characters like me. I'm a straight-ahead guy, and my actions are straight-ahead animation. No two drawings of me are alike. That's why straight-ahead is harder to do. Why, it takes more time. Well, that's enough for straight-ahead animation. There are still other types, quite a lot of them. But we'll take a look at just a few. For instance, you can make actual objects do tricks with single-frame exposures. A simple camera pan creates no real movement, but gives some feeling of such movement. Straight-cutting short scenes of static drawings gives an impression of movement. The combination of camera motion and optical effects create this same impression. That's all animation does anyway, creates an illusion. Now, there are good reasons why we use animation. For instance, how would you show what goes on inside an engine? Of course, it could be done with a cutaway or other special working model, but they're very costly and seldom available. So, we do it in animation. Animation also makes it possible to show things that can't be photographed, such as the storage of petroleum gas far underground. Time can be telescoped by animated artwork. Animation can portray the invisible, such as the chemical action theoretically taking place inside a storage battery. And it can give visible form to an abstract idea, such as a metropolitan newspaper's spread of influence over a wide area. Animation makes it possible to dramatize a product, such as this concrete coating for underwater pipe. And incidentally, you can have a little fun in the process. But sometimes animation shows up some funny things that aren't humorous. They're mistakes. Mistakes made all too often. Perhaps the most common mistake is that of trying to show too much. Sometimes we make the subject matter too small on the screen. Make lettering too small. Or throw in too much lettering. Contrast can be lost by the wrong choice of colors. And effectiveness lost by putting the action off-center, sometimes near the frame line. Pulsation is evidence of action being improperly planned. while confusion in shooting can result in jump backs. Discouraging, isn't it? But it needn't be if you follow the rules for successful animation. First, get together all necessary information and have a clear understanding of the requirements before you draw a single line. Second, plan carefully. You can't afford to do animation over again. Third, lay out the artwork to make the most effective use of the screen area. Fourth, use standard animation pegs and cell punches to keep your work in registration. Fifth, work with an exposure sheet. Don't guess whether you're shooting cells in correct order. Sixth, handle the artwork and cells like the delicate little things they are. And seventh, use animation for a purpose, only when it can do the job better than live photography. Well, that's about all I can think of. Let's see. We talked about the rules for animating successfully, some of the common errors, the reasons why we use animation, and the various types. Cycle, straight ahead, pop on or pop off, chip off, hey!